randomized weapon at Uncle. Do you have any personal preference today, Druid?
I am always a rooter for the sword start, but that's really low odds of happening, so I'm gonna say Burna start.
Well, you probably have the odds in your favor there. No sword on the way out. It does seem to me like the progression items are placed beforehand, and Uncle just gives you whatever's left, because you do get a disproportionate number of bombs and burnas. I think I've maybe seen one sword start, but I'm going to hope for bow. Bow's always my favorite pick.
I wonder if gamercal will make some calculations in this seed.
I have no doubt he'll be calculating away. What are the probabilities of me finding the item I need to, if I want to go to place A or place B? How many chests per minute can I get? Calculating machine there. But we get the hammer. Probably one of the better items you can start with. No ammunition, no magic requirements. Makes escape quite a breeze.
And most of the times after escape, we go to Calcarico.
Yeah, essentially you get a 6-minute bomb farming sequence with escape in standard mode. With a weapon like hammer, it really doesn't come down to any kind of tactical thinking. You don't have to worry about how deep you're going to go into a particular enemy prize pool, or if you're going to spread out your limited ammunition across multiple enemy types. You can just basically kill everything in your way with a single hit. Finding the hook shot there in the map chest, really nice item to find. And we immediately see Smight taking advantage of that hook shot, showing us what the stun prize is. Stun prize, there's 2 stun prizes in the game, a normal and a frozen. Normal is hook shot or a boomerang, and frozen is the ice rod or ether. They are randomized like most other things in this game, and in this particular seed, the stun prize is a heart piece.
And there's the sword.
Well, that's, as Vitasia would say, that's a French vanilla sword. It's pretty close to Uncle. You gotta feel happy about that at least.
So we now have 3 items that can be used as weapons, which don't use durability or anything.
Yeah, getting a sword in Link's house is always a little bit weird. You can't use your sword until you've gotten to escape. But with the sword at this point, that gives them some nice flexibility. The sword is a great general purpose weapon. We have the hook shot for a little bit of easier mobility prior to picking up the boots or the flute. And we have the hammer if we need to do some significant damage. Neither of our players has farmed a bomb yet, though. Smight is still trying. gamercal seems to have given up on the green guards. Probably going to try his luck on the ropes and the bats.
Also, interesting to see that once we have Death Mountain access, we can go to the whole of Light Death Mountain.
That is a good point. We'll need the flute to get up there, or the gloves and the lamp to logically get up there. But runners at this point are perfectly fine sequence breaking, so the gloves by themselves will be enough.
And Smight got a bomb drop from that guard there.
Very, very nice to find. Might kill some rats and bats with the hook shot. Very nice to instant kill those. Can get through here quickly. If we find 3 more bombs, we'll be able to full clear Kakariko. But 1 is all you need for the escape sequence to avoid a backtrack. It's always a gamble. We do spend a lot of time on commentary talking about the importance of bomb farming. Essentially, we're trying to fill a 6-minute sequence here, but as long as the gloves aren't locked back there, it's pretty easy to get back here later on, and neither's going to have to make that choice. So apparently the ropes today were the bomb hoarders, because we got some pretty high drop rate, 2 bombs on just 4 or 5 ropes.
And a 4th bomb for Smight there. Just 1 more bomb away for a full Kakariko loop.
Well, 3 will get you down to the bomb shop at least, so you can avoid backtracking. You're probably going to want to head out of there with more than 1, but we find just healthier in the back of Escape. No value, but it's nice to get out of the way. I think those chests are more about the psychological impact of leaving items left behind. We have seen seeds though where you have the glove back there, and people have had to walk back through the front, and it can be something that players will put off for quite a long time. And I've seen runs come down to getting a bomb. I've also seen a lot of time wasted for nothing.
And neither runner has counted the items and the chests, so they have got to pick up the map in the sanctuary chest.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of the items in that escape sequence has to be the map. One has to be a key. So if they had been counting, they both would have known that was the map. So as Chet says, that's the map of shame. But that said, sometimes it's better just to be safe than potentially risk having miscounted.
And Smight picking up the money that's growing from the grass. Instead of on trees, it grows on the grass.
Yeah, we get our first bottle there at the Thieves' Hideout, so it's one more thing we can check in Kakariko. Just heart refills on our Tier 2 tree pull prize. Neither runner showing us what the bush crab is or the lumberjack ledge. Both taking the I'll check it when I get the boots strategy, which seems to have been adopted by most runners at this point.
And having found that bottle makes it a bit easier to check Kakariko, but if we find the flute, we might never have to go back to Kakariko for items again.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we never find the powder, we won't need to do Magic Bat. If we never find... we might not have to come out to the library. But Half Magic there, that's our vanilla Magic Bat item, and nice to get early in the game.
And we got some more bombs, so we have enough for the Kakariko loop.
Yeah, I think you're definitely comfortable at this point spending money on the bottle vendor. You're close enough to being able to buy bombs, but with the hook shot and the sword, you don't need bombs to kill mini Moldorms or any other enemies, and you just need it for bombing open walls. There's quite a few of those still in the early game, but they might have enough. But hey, 300 rupees, they're good now.
And we're good on bombs for sure now.
Our glove there, that gives us the sequence broken access up to Death Mountain that you were talking earlier about, Druid. You speculated we might see an early Tower of Hera play. With Hera being a crystal, that's a possibility now. We might potentially need a fire source in order to clear that. But even if we don't, there's still 9 in logic items plus the old man, so 10 items that they can pick up when they go up, if they sequence break up there. Actually 0 in logic items, but 10 items they can pick up.
and so far no flute in Kakariko, but we do have the other blue thing that starts with an F. We found the flippers.
I'm not a big fan of early flippers. Maybe you are, Druid, but I like seeing some fake flippers. I like seeing runners decide whether or not to make that sequence break, and the flippers, it eliminates that possibility. Both runners having enough money to do Zora's Domain, I do expect maybe we'll see, probably see all 5 of those items, Hobo and the 4 Zora Domain checks, immediately after Mini Moldorm Cave.
Although if they go there immediately after Mini Moldorm, they are orphaning an item in Ice Rod Cave.
That is a good point. With so many items, they might be willing to come back there later on, and when they have the boots or the flute, they have quite a few things that they can do in the meantime. It's also possible, though, that they'll just check Ice Rod Cave first and then do the water areas. That would also be a good play. But I think coming out of here, your normal choices will be, assuming we don't find any progression items in the dam, Mini Moldorm, or Zora's Domain, and there's still 11 items left, so those are pretty good odds. 12 with Ice Rod Cave. I think we might see that the sequence break up to Death Mountain prior to seeing a dip into Eastern Palace, just because of the item density. Said gamercal is doing the calculations. If he's running the numbers, that might be the play. These Mini Moldorms avoiding gamercal a little bit. This might take them out a little bit easier with a hook shot. But they're both in sync, and they both have the Moon Pearl and the Mitts now, so that's Dark World access. And unless there's an item on the Lumberjack ledge, that's also the Death of Aga, because we don't need the hammer. The hammer isn't blocked by Pyramid Fairy, so a little bit tempting to know what that Lumberjack ledge item is now.
This also means that we have Dark Death Mountain access.
That is a good point. That didn't occur to me immediately, but that's an additional 6 items with the hook shot. So yeah, that brings our Death Mountain locations up to almost 20 items if you include Tower of Hera. You got to guess you're probably going to get maybe the Fire Rod or the lamp up there, and we'll be able to clear the dungeon. That would be a very, very valuable sequence break. But we also have some Dark World access now. We can get into the beginning of Skull Woods. We can full clear Thieves Town. You get the Southern Loop, which gives you the valuable Hype Cave checks. So a lot of options available to them that are in sequence. I would expect a little bit of divergence at this point, or at least hope for a bit.
Oh, green pendant in desert. And I thought I saw a pendant in Eastern as well.
Yes, Eastern Palace is the red pendant, so we can get that updated now. First map check was pretty quick. That I think a pendant Eastern makes a little bit more. Sorry, it makes it a little bit more of a better play to dip Eastern earlier. You're going to get 2 items, maybe all 3, and with the pendant Eastern, you're less likely to have to come back there later. So. Not picking up not killing Armos isn't as bad as double dipping a Crystal Eastern. We see the King of Samaria on the Hylia Island. Both runners have seen it and now have that valuable game knowledge. So knowing knowing that Desert and Eastern are pendants means I either Mire or Turtle Rock has to be a crystal, if not both of them. So this will be a cane required seed and a mirror required seed in order to pick that up. They are getting a ton of knowledge very, very quickly in addition to their items. Blue mail on the ledge. Of course it is, because we're 15 minutes in and we haven't gotten a mail upgrade yet, so we're overdue. So we've gotten so many progression items, Druid, that we only have 6 hearts. I would like to see them pick up that blue mail. How about you?
As a runner, I'd pick it up as I'm taking way too much damage, but I think if you want to go for quick, you might opt to skip out of it, which both runners are not doing.
Well, as I gotta admit, I've never seen this. I don't know if this is a new emote, this Zora scam emote that's chat using. I've never seen it, or I've just been blind this whole time. But yeah, Zora was a scam, but he did lead you up to the blue mail, so that's a decent consolation prize. Both runners are heading into the southern route here, which will be Hype Cave, and either they'll go north to Pyramid Catfish. Some runners, prefer that now, or they'll continue into the digging game and Village of Outcasts, which they can get into without the mirror, having those Titans mitts. They'll only be leaving K45 behind without the mirror.
Nothing really valuable in this Hype Cave.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that one a 0 out of 10. Official 0 out of 10 tier score on this. Our good tracker Credo wants to give it a negative 10 out of 10. That's a little bit ambitious of you, but we're actually seeing something here that finally answered a question I've always wanted to see. Is it faster to go up to past the Link's house area or down to the rock? Because we've had nice little diversions, and they sync up perfectly at Old Stumpy.
And we see gamercal making more use of the hookshot than Smight is. It's just a minor optimization, but it might add up to the 3 seconds that could decide if it's a tie or not.
Yeah, you do have to know which items you can hookshot on. Some trees look like that you can hookshot to them, but they're not really there, like if they're close to the entrance. It takes a little bit of experience and practice. gamercal is definitely taking advantage of that hookshot, though. Just 5 hours of the digging game. Smight taking advantage of the rock there to get a little bit of a faster return route.
But gamercal using the hookshot making his route just a tad bit faster.
Yeah, if they stay, the longer they stay in sync, the more you'll see, the tiny optimizations that hookshot offers. But they are diverging. Smight going to give us our first check on the hammer pegs here, while gamercal does the exterior Village of Outcast locations. So with a Crystal Thieves Town and having the sword and the hammer and the hookshot, a very easy dungeon to complete. No risk of leaving a chest behind. I expect both runners will immediately go in there after checking 2 or 3 of these exterior locations. It's always nice to check these first You don't want to forget them. Maybe they have some, some safety items. We saw 2 from gamercal. We still have C-shaped house left, but he's diving right into Thieves Town. I like checking these outside locations first. If we find boots here in C-shaped house on Smite's side, that's gonna make Thieves Town easier. Nice just to check these spots. You're gonna check them anyway, whether it's before or after Thieves Town. It doesn't make much of a difference. So I wasn't counting the items when gamercal went through here. I saw Smight did get a heart piece so far. There's 10 bombs, so there's 2 of the 3 items. Alright, so 3 out of 3 items. I guess the first chest was the big key. Thank you, Credo, for clarifying that. So chances are we'll probably see the key locked in the chest. That seems to be most likely picking up the map there. Probably see the key in the chest and then the compass on blind. Or the key in the maiden's room. So, just coming through Thieves Town, this is pretty straightforward. At this point, the question is, where do they go next? Without the mirror, you can't do the optimal graveyard ledge check, and then head over to Catfish, which some people like to do. Definitely not worth heading over there without being able to loop in that mirror locked location. Dip in the Skullwoods is an option. You can check the front of Skullwoods. You can't do the back unless we find the fire rod here. Where do you think we're going to see after this, Druid?
We can... No, wait. I'm thinking either Pod or Skull Woods.
Well, Palace of Darkness is a little bit of a walk to get to. They can check the 3 Sashuralis Hut items, but without a mirror, they can't do a Pod Eastern combo. They can get 4 to 5 items in Pod, but you're going to basically go in there expecting to double dip it, and maybe even only get 1 item, unless you take a potion in to get past the Bowlock section. 2 items in Skullwoods. I think you're right. Coming out of here, a Skullwoods check might be nice, and maybe then the Death Mountain sequence break. For all we know, the logic... Ooh, there's the flute, though. So
No,
Death Mountain, no longer a sequence break. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that Death Mountain's not a logic sequence break anymore.
So without a fire source, we still can't necessarily full clear Hera. But the odds of a fire source being up there just got a lot higher. You can't have both the flute and the lamp on Death Mountain. Now that we have the flute, it means that we can get the lamp up there. And it would, if the runners remember, it would make a lot of sense for them to grab the smith on before they go to Skull Woods or save and quit. They can take the smith with them into the front of Skull Woods, where you're just falling down the holes, and turn him in after activating the flute, since they're going to have to walk back here anyway. And they also have the sick kid. Oh, they did sick kid on their initial trip. But gamercal is picking up a smith. We'll see if Smight remembers to do this as well. Opting not to do Skull Woods though, just a smith and save.
And we're seeing the same from Smight, giving the smith just a bit of a tour. Here's my house, here's my porch. Here you can see the guard that's trying to hurt me.
No, the guards are keeping people away from your house. They only have your best interests in mind.
They even try to keep you yourself away from your house.
This is interesting that both players are taking this southern route. I'll be honest with you. I almost always see people start from Sanctuary. This is definitely the first time I've seen both people take the south route. I didn't think it was faster.
They'll be able to activate the flute right now, making it just a bit of convenience, I'd say. So please all rise for the Hyrulean national anthem.
I stood and saluted as a proud Rando fan.
And we're getting another one from Smight right now.
And there's no question where gamercal's headed. Not to the place I thought it was.
So they're bossed out.
Yeah, I lost this gamble. I was saying Death Mountain was 100% chance, and both players opting to go to different places, Skull Woods and Misery Mire areas.
And we find Ether in Mire Shed, which is needed for Mire.
Mire does tend to do that to you. You see a medallion, and it tends to be very close to the entrance. gamercal, knowing where the Canis Maria is, and knowing that he can't complete Mire, is wisely going to choose not to go into there until he has that cane. Gonna sequence break the old man rescue here. We know that this will not be the lamp, but it can be any of our other required items. And it's a very easy dark room to do if you have the sword. A little bit tricky without the sword.
And we're finding the small key in that chest, meaning we can just quickly go around here instead of walking all the way around.
Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna disagree with anybody in chat who suggests dipping Mire. At this point, no fire source to complete the torches for the vanilla big key location. Definitely can't complete the dungeon without the Canis Maria, and they know where that is. And there's so many items available elsewhere. The best case scenario is that they get 2 items in Mire. Most likely, they would get 0 or 1.
nothing much on Spectacle Rock or inside Spectacle Rock. And we see our first divergence, Smight taking on the Lunchbox and gamercal doing the play I said from really early on, Death Mountain.
Indeed, and I'm not trying to. Sorry, I'm not trying to pile on their danger cake. I just trying to add a little bit more illumination to the situation. So just 100 rupees on the purple chest. Unfortunately, it's not a big time commitment, and Smight is also heading up to Death Mountain, so we'll be getting these item dense locations. That could have paid off for Smight if that was the fire rod or the lamp. That would have guaranteed him the ability to complete Hera, which gamercal does not have at the moment. So I can see the thinking there. Check a few spots before heading up here.
And there it is.
Good location for it to be. That puts the old man into sequence now, which gamercal did, and Smight is doing right now. So we don't have to mentally keep track of any sequence breaks at this point. Flippers, lamp, everything is in sequence. Smight seems to be in PowerPoint mode here at the moment, though. Hopefully this recovers.
gamercal pressing A, trying to use the boots he doesn't have, and instead grabbing a wall.
Well, this is heads-up routing for gamercal. Without the mirror, if he wants to get to Tower of Hera, he has to take the long way around. So now that he has the lamp and can guarantee to full clear this dungeon and get both items, he's checking this first prior to doing the Dark World. Once he gets the Dark World, no mirror to get out, so it's good to do all of the Light World checks first. We do get one item in Hera, which means that this is a required basement. And I don't know about you, Druid, but if I see Crystal Hera, I want the basement to be required. No chance that you're going to have to make a choice on a gamble. You and your opponent are going to have to do the same thing. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, and it might be a bit of more time you have to stay, but I don't say it's really awful.
Yeah, it is a race, but as long as you and your opponent are losing the same amount of time, then no harm done. gamercal setting up for the Death Orb there, being very careful with it, and pulls it off flawlessly. You don't want a Death Orb before you open the chest. That would be very, very bad. I don't believe that Zosti, there's any scenario where Zosti needs a break, so I'm going to call foul on that. But if you do pull off the glitch in the basement, it is nice you can do a really quick break. gamercal unfortunately missed it and had to slash all the blocks. Maybe Smight will have some better luck. And there's our second item in Tower of Hera, a 10-hour upgrade, and gamercal trying to do the bomb jump. Not the way you want to do that. You want to bomb jump across and then walk back. he took the hook shot across and tried to bomb jump back. Fortunately, though, he did not fall the 2 floors, which he would have done if he failed the first one. So I'd say overall, a reasonable choice. Take the gamble on the 1-4 flaw. Yeah, that's a good point, Danger Cake. This will even out your earlier mistake, and I will give you a point now. So now you're even. Nice hammer, Moldorm. 3 hits is all it takes. Didn't get knocked off. Smight, though, oh my god. Set up for the Death Warp and did it a little bit too well. Flawless Death Warp.
I've always liked the fact that the camera unlocks in Tower of Hera if you enter that first set of stairs upwards.
So that's my bad. I guess I missed Smite's side. I thought he was walking down to the big key chest, but he was walking back up from the big key chest. I thought he had missed getting the key. So he has it. He's good. No big deal. Yeah, he was in the room with the worms instead of the Stalfos, so I thought he was on his way to the Stalfos room. I missed that he got the key already. So no mistake from Smight. That was a mistake from me.
And gamercal heading into the Dark World.
So 6 items over here, Super Bunny Cave, Hookshot Cave, able to pick all of them up, fortunately, with that very generous early hookshot. And we will check to see what our Turtle Rock Medallion is. Won't be able to pick it up, and we don't have any invincibility item or health to get through Spike Cave, so we'll be done after here once we check what the TR Medallion is. Where do we go from here? No mirror, so we can't get into desert. No book to get in the desert. No bow, doesn't make... can't get into ice without bombos. Whew. We're going to have to pick a dungeon to double dip. Well, there's an invincibility item, so we can do Spike Cave now. If gamercal remembers that, he might head over and do it. Sometimes you get a route in your mind and you don't think to change on the fly, but it looks like he is doing this. Eastern would probably be a good play after this, with the 3 items in Sashirala's hut and 2 to 3 that you can get in the dungeon. Both players heading to Eastern would be good. I don't know any other place where there's guaranteed 5 to 6 items.
I saw gamercal heading towards Ganon's Tower, and I was like, wait, he's that far already? What happened? But then I remembered, wait, Spike Cave.
Yeah, Smight not realizing you can walk around that rock and is waiting for the dead rock to die. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. And just a big 20 and Spike Cave, so we're done on Death Mountain for the moment. Smight has a few checks up here left to do. gamercal is... I think this is heading to Eastern. I didn't see Smight was stuck on the dead rock. Alright. That makes more sense. So will we see just Sasharala and heading out to somewhere else, or will this be a dip into Eastern, or maybe a dip into Palace of Darkness? They have that red potion now, so they can sequence break the Bowlock section using the potion glitch, and that will open up a minimum of 4, potentially 5 items in that dungeon.
Just a bit of love in the back of Sasra's hut.
Yeah, another bottle. That is our 3rd bottle for gamercal and our 2nd bottle for Smight he just picked up. If you want to mark those, Credo. So gamercal going in the Eastern. We're going to be able to get a minimum of 2 items. If Armos isn't holding the last item, we will be able to get all 3 in logic. Smite might do a quick Meyer check first. Hasn't done that. But then I expect the Eastern Pod area is probably your best bet at the moment.
And there's the bow. In its own dungeon, that is a French vanilla bow.
Yeah, that is a perfect place for it to be. Full clear Eastern now. If they want the pendant or just get all the items. Either way, though, the next destination is obviously Palace of Darkness for a full clear and the crystal. Smite's doing this Mire area check as well. This is going to get the 2 shed items. Still no mirror, so we can't do checkerboard cave or desert. And Smite, I can't imagine, is going to dip into Mire either, since he also knows where the bow is. Not the bow, rather, the Canis Maria.
No save and quit from Smight, so I guess he's going in.
This is a major gamble on Smite's part. He's probably hoping to find the mirror or the bow over here in Mire. Mirror would help because that would open up the cane. That would open up Swamp Palace with its 6 items. Mirror would be a nice find. Mirror would actually be a brilliant find because knowing that the mirror blocks the cane, gamercal's unlikely to check here. Anything but the mirror, though, isn't really going to help Smite out too much.
Except for maybe Fire Rod.
Fire Rod would open up Ice Palace, so if the mirror is Fire Rod locked, then that would also be good. Basically, if Misery Mire locks the mirror either directly or through sequential items, then this gamble is going to really pay off. If gamercal finds the mirror elsewhere, then he'll be picking up whatever's in here, in a single trip, versus Smite's guaranteed double dip. So it's an interesting gamble. We'll have to see what his thinking was when we interview.
Will it be a Godmire or will it not be a Godmire? It is not a Godmire. And a really nice Armos fight from gamercal for the red pendant.